Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by Thai Sounds, Bulgarian Defense Minister Dimitar Stoyanov announced on June 9th that Bulgaria will no longer provide any weapons to Ukraine. This decision marks a significant policy shift following the country's general election in April, which brought a new government to power under a coalition led by Prime Minister Rumen Radev, who has long advocated for a diplomatic resolution to the conflict. Stoyanov stated that the war of attrition in Ukraine cannot be resolved on the battlefield, arguing that supplying more weapons would only result in further loss of life. He emphasized that Ukraine currently has sufficient weaponry but lacks personnel. As a NATO and EU member, Bulgaria had previously provided military assistance, primarily Soviet-era weapons, often through third-party countries due to domestic political debates. Stoyanov urged both sides to negotiate a just peace and announced that Bulgaria plans to increase its defense spending to 5% of its GDP by 2030. According to a report by Leonid Zeobau, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot announced that France has banned Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich from entering the country. Barrot stated that Smotrich has actively promoted the annexation of the West Bank, supported the establishment of new settlements, advocated for the recolonization of Gaza, and contributed to the economic collapse of the Palestinian Authority, bringing severe consequences to the Palestinian people. This sanction is part of a coordinated effort with the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Norway, and New Zealand, targeting individuals responsible for escalating settlement activities and violence in the West Bank. France emphasized that such policies are unacceptable to the vast majority of the international community supporting a two-state solution. Smotrich is the second Israeli cabinet minister banned by France recently, following National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir in May. Both ministers are key members of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing coalition and were previously banned by 5 other nations last year for allegedly inciting violence against Palestinians. France has also barred several settler leaders and violent individuals. According to UPI, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and First Lady Olena Zelenska arrived in Tallinn, Estonia, to participate in the Ukraine-Nordic Baltic 8 summit. Facing the ongoing conflict with Russia, Zelensky met with several regional leaders, including the prime ministers of Finland, Latvia, and Sweden, and Estonian President Alar Karis, to secure enhanced military and diplomatic backing. During these meetings, Zelensky emphasized the critical need to bolster Ukraine's air defense capabilities and discussed financing for U.S. weapons under the Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List program. Looking ahead to G7, European Union, and NATO summits scheduled for this summer, he highlighted the importance of coordinating defensive strategies. Zelensky also advocated for a 21st package of EU sanctions and actions against Russia's shadow tanker fleet in the Baltic and North Seas. Additionally, Zelensky outlined his vision for viable peace talks, stating they must involve Ukraine, Russia, and Europe, alongside preferred representation from the United States. Although Zelensky recently proposed a direct meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, the Kremlin declined. According to Al Jazeera, United States President Donald Trump has announced that a peace deal with Iran is in its final throes and could be signed within days, leading to the immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump credited a powerful U.S. naval blockade for forcing Iran to the negotiating table. However, the diplomatic optimism stands in stark contrast to escalating violence on the ground. Israeli airstrikes on the southern Lebanese city of Tyre killed at least 8 people and forced thousands to flee, following a forced evacuation order that targeted the entire city, including its Christian quarter, for the first time. The strikes followed a recent direct military escalation between Israel and Iran. Trump reportedly warned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that Israel would be on its own if it continued to jeopardize the ceasefire negotiations. Iran has emphasized that any lasting agreement with the United States must include an end to the fighting in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Lebanese authorities report that Israel's offensive has claimed over 3,600 lives since early March. According to a report by CNBC, the Trump family was entitled to roughly $500 million from a cryptocurrency transaction in August 2025. The deal involved World Liberty Financial, a crypto venture co-founded by Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr., and the publicly traded digital asset treasury Alt5 Sigma. Through the transaction, Alt5 acquired $1.5 billion worth of World Liberty's WLFI tokens, funded partly by a $750 million stock sale. However, ordinary investors have suffered severe losses. Alt5 stock, now traded under the name AI Financial Corp, AIFC, has plummeted over 93% since the deal's announcement, trading well below $1 per share. The company has warned of substantial doubt regarding its ability to continue as a going concern and faces potential delisting from the Nasdaq. Despite the firm's collapse, the White House has denied any conflicts of interest, stating the president's assets are managed in a trust. Meanwhile, ethics watchdogs are urging the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) to launch an independent investigation into AI Financial's disclosure failures, executive turnover, and relationship with the president's family. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.